Hey brawlers, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX. We have our first ever deck profile for the channel. I'm super excited to bring this to you. It's not quite finished, but we're getting there. So hopefully you like it, and any suggestions are welcome. This is kind of a control deck, mostly because I kept getting the Lion Bakugan. So we're going to go over the character cards, which cores I chose, and some of the reasoning why, and the deck in its current form. So the first up we have, he'll pop open, our Hydrous Ultra. This is the Aquos Faction. He has 2 shields for the cores, 400 B power, and 4 damage. The cores I chose are first a +400 B for only Haos and Darkest. I believe that's Darkest. It gives a +400. Oh no, Ventus. Sorry, it looked black on the camera, or through the camera for some reason. Anyway, only +400 B, so I could take advantage of that because we have a Haos Bakugan and an Aquos Bakugan. And if my opponent has Pyrus, they're kind of out of luck, is the idea. Or for that core, Darkest. Next, we have a similar core with Aquos or Darkest with +400 B as well. I can also take advantage of it, but my opponent maybe not so much. Kind of controlling the flow of battle. These are the current cores I also own. If there are other shields that would help our cause, I'll be sure to include them if I ever can come across them or get them. Next we have the Hydrous or Hydrous. I've heard both, so I think I'm going to stick with Hydrous. And we have double helix for him. So our first helix is a -300 B power, -1 damage, Baku core. We're trying to hedge advantage with this deck. It is a control strategy, so we're trying our best to figure out any elements we can to control the board and control what our opponent is doing. This is a +600 B and -3 damage because Victor is important in this deck. We're not so much trying to win through massive team attacks like faster decks would. We're trying to grind out our opponent. So this, even if we lose in this case, if they land on this core, it's -3 damage, so it won't hurt us as much even if they take that battle. And finally, there we go. We have, oh, I forgot to mention his B power, so my apologies. He has 400 B power and 5 damage. Then, finally, we have the Haos Hydras, whose arm does not like always coming out. I wonder if like this is a little defective or if I can grease it up. This side has had troubles with me when I'm folding him, so hopefully that isn't a continued issue. Now he's a little on the weaker side, so the cores we chose for him are 2 -300 cores. This way, so we can set up, hopefully our opponent lands on this, and we can grab a quick win just because they're weaker than we are, as he only has 200 B power and 4 damage. Alright, and now I'll slide these over so we can start with the actual deck profile itself. Again, it stands for improvement. I am after certain cards, but this is what we have so far. There's one proxy in the deck because I know I'm going to be receiving that in due time. So we'll put this here and zoom in a little. First, we have what I would consider to be our finisher in the deck. For whenever we need to close out a game, it is Titan Hydras. I can't say it after saying Hydra, sorry. Aurelius Faction. There we go. He costs 6 energy, has 1000 B power, 3 damage, but he also has 3 frost. So what that does is it forces our opponent to pay 3 more energy for any flip cards. Double Strike and Shadow Strike. So it means he will deal double his damage, and he cannot be targeted with negative effects. So he can't be reduced with its power, He can't be reduced with damage or any of that. So he's an ideal finisher for the kind of strategy we're going for. I run currently 2 of him. I think I would like to run 3. In a game where your deck depletes for your life total, it's nice to have some backups. Next, we're moving to Aquos Faction. So we only have this for Aurelius, and most of the deck will be Aquos and Haos. We have Hydrous Ultra, which is a 3 energy evolution, 700 B power, and 5 damage. Whenever we win for Victor, we can play a blue energy card with cost 4 energy or less for free. I'm not sure how to capitalize on this quite yet, but there are a few additional ways that we can get after we play him. So we run 3 of him. For example, we can play a Shun for free. Shun here is a utility card. It makes all of our evolutions cost 1 less to play. So it gives us some play in terms of being able to play 2 or more cards in a turn whenever we need to alongside our evolutions. It also makes our very, very big evolutions in this deck, such as the Aurelius Hydras you just saw, cost less. So the ideal number is 3, because we want to try and put all 3 into play as soon as we can. That's a proxy. Again, I will be eventually getting it. Currently, I run 1 Absorb. We stop an action card, and then we can copy it. I'm not sure if this card is worth a 3 of or a 0 of yet in the deck, but either way, it'll be one or the other. Now we have our typical flip card, Counter Outsiders. We only play 2 of these because we want to have as much room as we can to play a control game against our opponent and make sure we always have the edge. Next, we run 3 Fixation. Now, this might be an odd one to some of you, but we're trying to prevent team attacks. So for only 2 energy, and maybe even like with a Victor on the Hydrous evolution here, the Hyper Hydrous Ultra, we can play this and force our opponent to retract 1 of their Bakugan from a previous turn, stopping team attacks. So we have 3 of this, and it kind of gives us that extra bit of push we might need. Next, we will run 1 Deep Illusion. Blue doesn't have many ways to deal with heroes, so I wanted to include a card to get rid of a nasty hero in case they play a Dankuzo or something like that. This is a great way to stop it. Next, we run 3 Triple Blast Cannon. These stop action cards. Again, we're weak and we're trying to win through our Baku cores a little bit and through our evolutions, so pushing our opponent back is ideal. Alright, next we move on to the Haos cards. We have Hyper Hydrous Ultra for Haos Faction. He has 500 B power, 6 damage, and when he wins, you shuffle a card from your discard pile into your deck. So we're healing and trying to go for the long game. The more we can place our flip cards from our discard pile back into the deck and reuse them, the better we are. So we run 3 of that. We want to run 1 Maximus Hydrous Ultra. One of the other reasons we want to run Shun. He has 1000 B power and 8 damage, and upon victory, he shuffles 3 cards from the discard pile of the deck. So he's great for really late game pushes whenever we have maybe a few cards left in the deck. We can push him out, hopefully win, recycle our flip cards, and then on the following turn, be able to play our flip cards and keep recycling and recycling and recycling if we can keep winning over the course of the game, and hopefully close out victory with our Aurelius Hydras. And then we run 2 Halt Outsiders. Additionally, we need some early game plays to help us bolster what our deck's trying to do. So I run 3 Cycling Light. This card is amazing because it gives something 200B, which is quick for 1 energy, and then it goes on the bottom of the deck. So it cycles itself and helps us stay alive. Cards like this are important to keeping alive in the game. The more of these you can add into your deck, the better off you'll probably be. Anything that can cycle and add cards is wonderful, as long as it doesn't draw cards. I went against that on purpose because I feel like if you're just doing 1-for-1 card advantage, this will give you enough bolster along your counterplays. So we run 3 of this. Alright. And to ensure that we win some of our victories, 2 recycle cards, I run 3 Light Break. It's plus 300B, which isn't bad for a rate of 2, but if it's a Haos Bakugan, it's plus 600B instead. That is amazing. It really, really allows you to bolster your deck and get those victories ensured to recycle cards, especially flip cards, from your discard pile back into your deck. I run 2 Wax because the other part of running a deck based on evolutions is we want to control the flow of the evolutions. So when we get to a 6 energy count, we can, and we're hopefully still alive, we can blow up all of their evolutions and control the game that way. Our Bakugan are just bigger and stronger at that point in time, at least hopefully, so we will be able to easily close the game after landing one of these. But I only run 2 because it is 6 energy. Next up, we are Fragile to Light, 2 energy and minus 5 damage to a non-Haos Bakugan. The reason to run this is to stop damage from hitting you so you can stay alive longer. This is a buffer to maybe just even stop an entire attack from one of your opponent's Bakugan. Oh, you're at 5 damage? Well, we'll minus 5 damage on that so we stay alive and we only use 1 action card. So we run 3 of these. Next, we run Bone Defense. I'm indecisive about this card, but for right now, we're running it. It's 3 energy for plus 700B. That's a fine rate. I feel like you should get a little bit more out of the 3 energy, but I haven't really played too many games. I played like a couple of games with a friend of mine with decks we just threw together from his extras. So maybe 700 B power is an amazing rate. I'm not sure. I still have to find out. And then finally we run only 2 Luminous Armor because it's 4 energy for 900 specifically to a Haos Bakugan. Whenever I get other cards, these will be the first ones exchanged out of the deck. They're just filler right now. I'm sure you could use something else. Maybe if you need more flip cards or other different strategies included in the deck. Maybe something I'm not even thinking of. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this first ever deck profile. And keep battling, brawlers. Stay tuned and have a good day.